Alright folks, so welcome back to another part here. This is our one of our bolt hole deletes here that I'm going to do so we can get rid of this hole so it'll look much better and you won't really be able to tell as much. So what I've did is I took a 3/8/16 tap and went in there, cleaned the threads out and got all them cleaned out. Make sure it's seated all the way down to the end of the ball. You'll feel it stop. Then took it back out, and then I got me a grade 8 bolt. It's a 3/8/16 again. Cut the head off, which is this right here, and this is what we are left with. And I went ahead and after I cut the head of the bolt off, we went ahead and put it in my vise. And I took a cutoff wheel and I tightened it down and put a little slot in it here. So there's a little slot, and what I did is I cut this off so that this bolt hole, when you thread this in here, on this one-handed here, now when we got this thread all the way in here, I cut it just deep enough so it will go deep enough that it will be sunk, countersunk, just like that. We're going to come back again, some Loctite, and we're going to take a little welder and we're just going to and weld across so that'll keep it from backing out. And we got our blue Loctite as well, thread locker, Loctite. We're going to Loctite that and tighten it down and then weld that on top of that, and that should keep it backing out from two different ways. Plus it'll put a little strength back in here and you'll never know. And then when we come back and smooth this out with some, I don't know, probably maybe 60 grit, something like that, we'll smooth all this back out and you'll never know. That'll put some strength back in here too. Yeah, that's a little trick I did, and I countersunk it too, so that way I can come back in there, and I'm just going to take my MIG welder and put a little couple spot welds in there. It ain't going to take much at all, and that should help it, and that'll just give it more strength in there and give it peace of mind, because I really thought about just filling this hole in with just weld. But yeah, I know this is cast iron. I'm not worried about that. These are real cheapo, $140 pair of exhaust manifolds. I'm not really sweating that much. That's why I'm doing this. This is all about being period correct. But anyway, I'm not worried about that. I'm just going to go, I'm not going to put a lot of heat in there. Same way when I was grinding it, I didn't spend a whole lot of time in all in one spot. I spread it around so that way it wouldn't put a lot of heat in it. But I'm not too worried about it. But anyway, yeah, the whole point is this, is I cut this off deep enough here that I cut a little slot in it, just like that. That way it'll thread in there and it'll be countersunk. And then we'll take some Loctite, just go thread that thing on in there, and we'll tighten it down real good and snug. And when we do that, I'll dig out our MIG welder. And just go, and it should be good. And then we'll have enough of a weld on there. That'll put some meat back in there. That'll be countersunk. That'll put strength back in there, and hopefully that should prevent something bad from happening. You know, I don't think it'll crack or nothing. I think it'd be alright because there's plenty of meat in there. I was a little concerned in this area here because really we didn't take nothing off but the boss. It's still really thick. You know, I'm a little concerned about this little area, but I figure worst come to worst, what's this going to hurt? Nothing. But anyway, you know, we're doing two different things. But anyway, it's what we got. By the time you paint it, you know, at least that'll have that hole more. And, you know, worst come to worst, even if you ain't got a welder, you could take a stud and make it just a little bit longer and just take a cutoff wheel and cut off flush and then come back and just sand it. And you would never know by the time you paint it, you know, you'd be good. And you still maybe might see that slot, but if you could take enough paint and put it in there, it'll fill that slot in there You just put a little thick right in there, you'll never know. Paint's gonna burn off anyway. I mean, anyway, that's what I did here. When it boils down to it, I just want the car, the Biscayne, when you walk up to it, you won't really notice right off the bat that it's a TBI motor. That's the whole point of this. It's using a newer block, but running an old school top end with old school manifolds. Anyway, that's what I got. I'll see you on the next part.